Hey everybody, welcome to the GMG review. Today I'm taking a look at the latest Codex Supplement for Warhammer 40,000 Codex Space Marines, the Salamanders, the Fire and Brimstone first founding chapter that's all about the artisanship of making cool armor, flame weapons, thunder hammers, giant glowing spears, whatever it is, and generally having flashbacks about the fact that their primarch, who was a Perpetual, was driven insane by Conrad Kurz and killed over and over again, and had a really hard luck time. I mean, even at least Ferrus Manus just got beheaded, although he did get cloned over and over again and then killed by Fulgrim. But none of them really had a good end. It was kind of an unhappy ending for everybody. Anyway, we're gonna jump through this. We'll do a TLDR version of the background for the Salamanders and just like the general sort of like principles of what's in here, and then go through the meaty bits of the rules, which is what you're all excited about. So the Sons of Vulkan, much like the previous supplements in this series, you're going to get pretty much what you'd expect. You're going to get an overview of their chapter organization and their Legion history, basically, is one of the first founding chapters. Their companies, they only have 7, and that's because they're formed around basically the old hierarchy of their homeworld. And then their armory, their chapter command, all the special characters. They did retain their previous sort of fine cast metal special character, Vulkan Heston, from, it's either Heston or Heston. Heston? I say it like Charlton Heston, I don't know why, because those damn dirty apes blew it up. And then, of course, some of the sort of like famous battles that they have. Nice new, it's funny, of all of them, this one tended to feature more pre-Primaris stuff I found in the pictures. The Thunderfire Cannon featured pretty prominently. You can see land speeders. Mostly, if it had a multi-melter or a flamethrower on it, it seems like they dug it out of the Space Marine collection and painted it up to go with the army. Including some Stern Guard, too, which I found is an interesting entry. But again, there's lots of flamers and melting guns in there, too. But lots of new Primaris boys, of course, getting painted up and thrown in. Nocturne. Hey, look, it's Nocturne. It does Nocturne-y things. Their chapter organization, all 7 companies, the Fire Drakes, which is the first company, and then all the battle companies. The Pyre class, the Branded. Everybody gets their own little entry, which is nice. And then the 7th company, which is like their Scouty company, and Vanguard Space Marines. The Armory, their love of big guns and Thunderfire cannons and flamethrowers and melting guns. And then the history of Salamanders, so like the stories of, hey look, there's Vulkan before he died over and over and over again during the Horse Heresy. Spoiler alert, Vulkan dies, even though there's a book called Vulkan Lives, because they think he's dead. But then he is dead, but then he's not dead, because he's a Perpetual. Which makes it weird that he is dead. But he still is dead. Whatever powers Perpetuals, I guess it doesn't last forever. Their War of Armageddon, fighting on Iberanis. And then the Legends of Nocturne, so basically bring it up to today. They're like taking part in the Bad Ab War. All that super fun stuff. More sweet color section stuff. Again, all focused on Primaris Marines. Although, again, the occasional entry like the Thunderfire Cannon. Got some Stern Guard back here. And the stories of the 2 main characters. We got Vulkan Heston, and as most of the supplement books have now added in, a new special character, Adrax Agatone. It's either Agatone or Agatone. I mean, we don't get a guide on how to pronounce these things. And he is, of course, a big Primaris boy. Got a big thunder hammer and a cool flaming pistol. It's funny, of all of the new characters, Primaris characters, with both Ferrus and the new Imperial Fist one being pretty awesome support pieces supporting shooting, this poor fella, he has arguably one of the coolest powers, but unfortunately most of the guns that his cool powers go on, with the exception of one type of aggressor, it's not very popular, don't exist. In the Primaris land, there is not a lot of multi-meltas and flamethrowers in Primaris land, apart from the aggressors that have the double flamethrowers. Mostly due to the fact that you can't give most of the Primaris guys any kind of special weapons. You just get bolters of different kinds and different flavors. More color section. Vulkan is still in the book, which again kind of makes it sting that the poor Black Templars, unless they're getting their own book, they didn't get anything in the Imperial Fist Codex. But you can watch that by clicking up in the cards, and you can see that review go up today as well. I do like that they put in the command squad, although they are looking a little venerable now when you compare the sculpts. Just like the distances between the eyes, like if you look at the helmets, you can see the difference between something that was hand sculpted and then like put to a 3-up and then cast in plastic versus some of these digitally created. Like the proportions are just perfect. it's interesting to see the difference. And some old Dreadies and a Vendread. Again, everyone's got some kind of flame thing, because that's basically their jam. And the Thunderfire Cannon. I was kind of shocked to see one. I haven't seen one in so long. It was just weird to actually see one. The Repulsor. And check it out. Here's a starting army with some old school Marines in it. It's weird to see a command squad with 3 guys too. That's just weirds me out. And the Lords of Nocturne. All right, so we're into some ruly stuff now. Our 2 new characters, Adrax Agatone, or Agatone, or Agatone. I don't know how to pronounce it. Adrax A is what we'll call him. He's 140 points. Vulkan Histon is 130. Vulkan's pretty much as he was. 6-inch move, 2+2+, strength toughness 4, 5 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 9, and a 2+ it's a sweet 2+ save. But he is like the artisan of the Salamanders. If you're not super sure about his background, he's like on a quest to find all of Vulkan's relics, and he's amassing them. And that means he's got some pretty sweet gear, like the Gauntlet of the Forge, which is a 8-inch range, assault d6, strength 5 -1, just a heavy flamer basically. Spear of Vulkan, which is a +2 strength, -2 save, d3 damage, and then just fragging cracks. He's an Angel of Death, like all Space Marines, has Rites of Battle, has Kasari's Mantle, which is this big like drakey cloak that's supposed to, I think it's supposed to be Vulkan's, or it's just like one of the chapter relics. Gives him a 3+ invul, and he's a Forge Father, so this is a really cool rule that I wish like there was more guns that it worked on. You can reroll hit rolls and you can reroll wound rolls for attacks made with flame or melta weapons by models and friendly Salamanders units while they're within 6 inches of this model. So if you just surround this guy with multi-melta devastators, he will get some work done. Unfortunately, the threat's really low and they don't shoot very far, but my gosh. Or huck him in a Stern Guard unit full of like melta guns and just drop him off next to something and watch it just get annihilated, whatever it is. They get a special rule that adds to that as well, actually. And then this is basically a character infantry, Captain Vulkan Histon. He's still not a Primaris either. He's just a dude. Doesn't have the Primaris tag. And Adrax Agatone, he is, or Agatone, Adrax A. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna give up. I'm not gonna do it. He's 6-inch move, 2+2+, strength toughness 4, got an extra wound because he's a Primaris boy, wound 6, 5 attacks again because he's Primaris, leadership 9, 2+ save, and he's got the Dracus, which is assault d6, strength 4 -1, and auto hits. And it's his like little flamethrower pistol-y thing. It's like a super hand flamer basically with a 12-inch range. The Malus Noctum, which is his big giant thunder hammer. It's ×2 strength, -3 save, 4 damage, but -1 to hit. He's gonna have 6 attacks in the charge with it because he will have the Space Marine +1 attack on the charge. So that is a whole lot of hitting stuff. And then frag and crack. He's an Angel of Death. He has Unto the Anvil. Now this is neat. He has add 1 to wound rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by models in friendly Salamanders units while they're within 6 inches of this model and they performed a charge move, were charged, or performed a heroic intervention. That means that Strength 8 Thunderhammer is going to be wounding everything in the game on at least 4s basically. I don't think there's anything that's toughness 16. And then he's got an Iron Halo for a 4+ invul, the Iridian Drakehide Cloak, which is -1 damage to a minimum of 1 for all attacks target the bearer, and the Rites of Battle, reroll hit rolls of 1 for Salamanders. And his character, Infantry, Primaris, Captain, and Adrax A. And those are our new characters. So, I mean, honestly, of the 2 of them, you can make a really hard-hitting Thunderhammer unit, I guess. The problem is that like he doesn't have a great delivery system because he walks. But Vulkan, I mean, it's not nearly as good as some of the stuff that's been coming out in these supplement codexes. Like the Iron Hand Codex just is like the king of shooting codexes now. But there's an argument like if there ever is a great Primaris platform for melta weapons, melta guns, or multi-meltas, that's a lot of like reroll everything in one guy for only 130 points. And I mean, he's no slouch either. He's a pretty good fighter. And generally does all the other stuff that a captain would do. The Crucible of War. Okay, so again, all your usual stuff for taking sub-chapters and primary chapter for the Salamanders. Their big keyword is the Promethean Cult. While the Tactical Doctrine is active, so at least turn 2. When you're resolving attack with a flamer melta weapon, add 1 to the wound roll. So now you're talking about heavy flamers maybe wounding on 2s and re-rolling. You're talking about multi-meltas that are wounding everything in the game, basically, that's not toughness 9 on 3s. Toughness 9 or more, it's going to be on 4s and re-rolling everything, which is, again, bananas. And then all the usual successor chapter rolls. So Warlord Traits. Now, unlike, you actually get 9 Warlord Traits in the Fists Codex. You want to go check that out because you get 3 for the Crimson Fists. But for the Salamanders, you're going to get 6. First one is Anvil of Strength. Add 2 to the strength characteristic of this Warlord. So, I mean, there's something to be said about a Strength 12 Thunderhammer Smash Captain. That's pretty cool. Strength 12. The Miraculous Constitution. When the Warlord would lose a wound, roll 1d6. On a 6, that wound is not lost. In addition, at the start of your movement phase, you regain a lost wound. So he's kind of got the Perpetual blood. Never give up. As sort of a battle round, you can select 1 friendly Salamanders unit within 6 of the Warlord. Until the end of that round, they have Defenders of Humanity, so you're going to become troops, basically, for scoring objectives. Forge Master, +2 toughness. So toughness 6, toughness 7. I think that, because I think the one in Gravis Armor is toughness 5. I think so. So you'd be toughness 7. It's pretty cool. Lord of Fire, you can roll the dice to determine the number of attacks made with flame weapons, whilst friendly Salamanders are within 6 inches of this Warlord. And Patient and Determined. Once per shooting phase and or fight phase, when resolving attack, do not make a hit roll. It automatically scores a hit. So just auto hits once. And then Adrax has Lord of Fire, which is the reroll flames. And Vulkan has Anvil of Strength, making him strength 8 with his spear, because it's +2 for the spear, plus another 2, because he's wicked strong. The Relics of Nocturne. Okay, so this page is all the stuff that only the Salamanders can take. This page is the stuff that their successors can take. And of course, there's the same stratagem as on all these codexes. To unlock one of these for a successor chapter, they get like loaned out basically by the daddy chapter. So Vulkan's Sigil is the first one. Add 1 of the attack characteristic of a model with this relic. In addition, once per battle at the start of the fight phase, a model with this relic can hold aloft Vulkan's Sigil. Until the end of that phase, add 1 to the attack characteristic of the models in the friendly Salamanders unit while they're within 6 of that model. And note the attack characteristic of this model with this relic is therefore increased by 2 until the end of the phase. So they get +2. Drake Smiter. Again, this is going to be a pretty popular Smash Captain. Model equipped with Thunderhammer only. It is melee times 2 strength minus 4 AP, flat 3 damage. When resolving an attack with this weapon, subtract 1 from the hit roll. But on an unmodified wound roll of 6, add 3 to the damage characteristic. It becomes damage 6 on a 6 to wound. So yeah, so you go. This is my strength 12, potentially damage 6 per hit Smash Captain. This could be really good. I mean, it's swingy, but walking up and just like gibbing something because you're damage 6 all of a sudden, or like just kneecap on a knight, it could be really good. The Wrath of Prometheus. It's a bolt gun or mastercrafted bolt gun. 30-inch range, rapid fire 1, strength 5, minus 2, damage 3. Just give somebody a damage 3 bolt gun, why not? The Tome of Velkona. Librarian only, a model with this relic knows 1 psychic power from the Promethean discipline in addition to any other powers it knows. When a psychic test is taken for a model with this relic that is attempting to manifest a psychic power from the Promethean discipline, add 1 to the total. So +1 to cast and additional power. The Salamander's Mantle. When resolving attack against this model with this relic, -1 to wound. Nocturne's Vengeance replaces a combi flamer, and the bolt gun is mastercrafted, so it's 2 damage. The flamer is assault D6, 12-inch range, and 2 damage as well with a -1 save. And then you auto hit with the flamer portion. The Helm of Draclos, Primaris models only. Add 1 to the wound characteristic of a model with this relic, and subtract 1 from the leadership characteristic of enemy models within 6. And then we get the sweet special issue war gear, Adamantine Mantle, 5+ wound shrug, Artificer Armor 2+, 5+, Mastercraft Weapon +1 damage, counts as a relic. Digi Weapons, roll an extra die. If it hits, do a mortal wound. The Obsidian Aquila, when a friendly chapter model within 6 of this model would lose a wound, roll a d6 on a 6+ not lost. So you can pass out a 6+ wound shrug. That's going to be pretty popular. Promethean Plate, when resolving an attack against this model with this relic, 1, 2, or 3 always fails to wound. So maximum wound on a 4+. Dragon Rage Bolts. When you give a model this relic, select 1 bolt weapon that model is equipped with. When the bearer shoots, you can choose to fire Dragon Rage Bolt. Make 1 attack with this weapon, but if attack hits, make d6 wound rolls. When resolving the attack, the target does not benefit from cover, and that weapon has a damage characteristic 1 and AP of -1. So it's like an explodey burning anti-cover gun. The Drake Blade, model with a power sword, mastercraft power sword, or combat knife only. When a resolving attack made with this weapon on an unmodified wound roll of 6, take a mortal wound in addition to any other damage, and it's minus 4 AP, 2 wounds. So finally a weapon worth giving the Phobos Lieutenant and the Phobos Captain, because it replaces their combat knife. So that's pretty cool actually, because I'd give that to the Phobos guy, and now he's got a minus 4 save, or minus 4 to wound, no, minus 4 save and damage 2 knife. And you can give it to the Knife Fighter guy with the exploding 6s too. So you give it to the Phobos guy, and he's just like giving all the stabs. It's like a prison lunch line in there. Toothpaste or toothbrushes just stabbing everywhere. Stratagems. Okay, so let's just dive right in. For 2 CPs, you can do Flamecraft. Use it in your shooting phase when a Salamander's unit was chosen to shoot with until the end of that phase. When a model in that unit shoots with a flame weapon, do not roll. It's maximum. So for 2 CPs, you get the maximum number of hits. Oh, if only I could do that to a Knight Valiant. If only I could have a Salamander Knight Valiant. Can I name my Knight's household Salamander? I guess I can't. 1 CP for the Crucible of Battle. Use stratagem in the shooting or fight phase. When a Salamander's unit from your army is chosen to shoot or fight with until the end of that phase, when resolving an attack made by a model in that unit, add 1 to the wound roll. So +1 to wound. Strength of the Primarch. 1 CP. Use a stratagem at the start of the fight phase. Select a Salamander unit from your army. Until the end of that phase, add 1 to the strength characteristic of that unit. When resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by a model on a modified wound roll of 6, double the damage of that weapon for that attack. Okay, okay. So the same Smash Captain now. It's at the start of the fight phase. You send him in. He's strength 12. Goes to... See, I think you multiply before you add. In the old days, that's what you did. So he would be... The strength characteristic would become 6 because the Warlord Trait would still do that because your characteristic changes. It's not adding. Sorry, the characteristic would be natively changed. Then you'd multiply it when you go to use it. And I think this one would then add on top of that. So you'd probably be strength 13. Not that it's really going to matter at that point. But that unmodified wound roll of 6 would double the damage and add +3 damage. So I think you'd be damage 9 for a CP. Oy. If they're trying to build the ultimate Smash Captain, this is definitely a way to do it. 1 CP for the Fires of Battle until you use a stratagem in your shooting phase or in your opponent's charge phase when a Salamander model from your army shoots with a flame weapon. At the end of that phase, when resolving attack made with that weapon, unmodified wound roll of 4+, the target suffers a mortal wound in addition to any normal damage. 2 CPs for the Rites of Vulkan. Use a stratagem at the start of your movement phase with the Tactical Doctrines active until the start of the next battle round. Resolving attack made with a rapid fire or assault weapon by a Salamander's model in your army, an unmodified wound roll of 6. The arm penetration characteristic is improved by additional 1. But you can only use it once per battle. That's the whole army though, for 2 CPs basically. your additional AP. And you're already additional AP for the Doctrine, meaning that you'd go in tactical to like -3 AP bolt rifles and -2 AP regular bolters. 1 CP for Despite the Odds. Use a stratagem at the end of your turn if a Salamander's Warlord in your army is on the battlefield and you didn't get any tactical objectives. Generate anyone, blah blah, who cares, tactical objectives. 1 CP Immolation Protocols. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase. When a Salamander's unit from your army is chosen to shoot with, until the end of that phase, change the type of all flame weapons in that unit to pistol. So you get D6 flame pistols, pistol D6. 2 CPs for Self-Sacrifice. Use a stratagem at the start of your opponent's shooting phase. Select 1 Salamander's infantry unit from your army. Until the end of that phase, enemy units cannot target any other infantry units from your army that are within 6 inches of that selected unit unless they're the closest one to the firing unit and visible to it. 2 CPs Rise from the Ashes. Use a stratagem in any phase. When a Salamander's character model from your army is destroyed, at the end of that phase, roll a D6. On a 4+, return the model to play with 1 wound remaining. Can only use it on in each model once per battle. So for 2 CPs, you can just come back to life, that's pretty baller. Again, more playing into the whole like he was a perpetual thing. 1 CP for the Vengeance for Istvan 5. Use a stratagem in the fight phase when a Salamander unit from your army is chosen to fight with. Until the end of that phase, when resolving an attack made by a melee weapon against a Word Bearer, Iron Warrior, Night Lord, or Alpha Legion unit, you can reroll the hit roll. So 1 CP in the fight phase, everybody rerolls to hit against those legions. Again, situational, but I mean, it's a pretty cool buff. 1 CP for Stand Your Ground. Use a stratagem in any phase when a Salamander infantry unit from your army that's not a servitor and did not advance is chosen as the target of an attack. Until the end of that phase, when resolving an attack with a weapon has a damage characteristic of 1 against a model, add 1 to the saving throw. Does not affect invulnerable saves. 2 CPs for Born Protectors. Use stratagem in your opponent's charge phase when a charge is declared against a Salamander unit from your army. Select one friendly Salamanders unit that's more than 1 inch away from the enemy and within 12 of the target, and they can then shoot Overwatch. In addition, if that charge is successful, select unit can then perform a heroic intervention as if it was a character. And if it does, it can move 2d6, but must end the move closer to any unit that charged and cannot move within one of any other enemy units. So basically, you get a free Overwatch, plus you can charge that unit if they go after somebody who's near you. 1 CP for Relentless Determination. Use this stratagem at the end of your movement phase. Select one Salamander's unit from your army that did not advance that phase. Until the end of your next movement phase, the unit's treated as having remained stationary for all purposes. In addition, if that unit has a damage table, then until the start of your next movement phase, double the number of wounds remaining. So for 1 CP, you can bring up a vehicle back online, which is a pretty cool thing, and you'd count as sitting still. So, I mean, it doesn't play into their army strength very well, because I don't know what big vehicle you'd take. That I guess maybe the Land Raider with the flamethrowers, but it doesn't care, because it auto-hits. 1 CP for Exemplar of the Promethean Creed. Use a stratagem when nominating a Salamander's model that's not a named character to be your Warlord. Generate additional Warlord trait for somebody else. Master Artisans. Use this, oh no, it's not for someone else, it's for them. Yep, they get 2 Warlord traits instead of 1. Master Artisans, use this stratagem before the battle. Select one Salamander's model, it's a sergeant. They can become a character, even though they're not a character, and get a relic. And it's a Mastercraft weapon, digital weapon, Drake Blade, Dragon Rage bolts. That's your list of options. And the Trusted Prometheus, you can get a relic for your baby chapter. And then it's the Promethean Discipline. Okay, so the Promethean Discipline. And this is for libraries in models and Salamander detachments. You can know all of their psychic powers from this one instead of the Librarius or Obscuration disciplines. The first one's Flaming Blast, Warp Charge 6. If manifested, select 1 point in the battlefield within 24 invisible to the Psyker. Roll 1d6 for every enemy unit within 3, and on 4+, take a mortal wound. It's not exploding. Whoosh. Actually, I think there's the exact same power for the Imperial Fist, but it's like telekinetic shrapnel. Number 2 is Fire Shield. Has a warp value charge of 6. If manifested, select one friendly Salamander's unit within 18 of the Psyker until the start of your next Psychic phase. When resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon against that unit, subtract 1 from the hit roll. So -1 to hit, that's pretty cool. In addition, when a charge roll is made, and then they're -1 basically to charge against them as well. Burning Hands, Warp Charge 6. If manifested, then until the start of your next Psychic phase, when resolving an attack made with a close combat weapon by the Psyker, if a hit is scored, the target suffers a mortal wound and the attack sequence ends. But only with a close combat weapon. So you don't get any other weapon, but it just does mortal wounds, basically. Number 4 is the Drake Skin. Warp Charge 6. If manifested, select one friendly Salamander unit within 12 inches. Until the start of your next Psychic phase, add 1 of the toughness characteristic of models in that unit. So the whole unit gets +1 toughness. The Fury of Nocturne. It's Warp Charge 6. If manifested, select an enemy unit within 18. And visible to the Psyker, roll 2d6. If the result's greater than the highest toughness characteristic of models in that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. That's pretty cool. Just a D3 mortal wound for low toughness units. Number 6, Draconic Aspect, has a warp charge of 6 if manifested. Then until the start of your next Psychic phase, subtract 2 from the leadership characteristic of models and enemy units while they're within 12 of the Psyker. Just makes people scared. There's not really a standout there. I mean, Fire Shield maybe? I think Fire Shield's probably the only one that I'm really like, that's a good one. Because like, and I guess maybe Burning Hands. Like you basically, you're trying to find a Psyker that you can just pile attack stats onto, like give them as many attacks as possible, and then give them a way to reroll the hit, and then pile them into something to do mortal wounds. Those are the 2 that I think are pretty good. The rest are just kind of meh. Tactical objectives and the name generator. Oh no, I forgot D6s again. Hang on, get some D6s. I'm just gonna scoot off the screen here. Dun, 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 dun. And we're back. What did I get for my name generator? I always start doing these and forget my 2d6s so that I can do my silly name generator. All right, so my forename 24 is going to be Navarre, like Dave Navarro, and then my surname is going to be 35 Navarre Shaldar. I sound like a Ferengi bartender. Or no, a guy who drinks from a bar hosted by a Ferengi bartender. And that's it. There's our look through the Salamanders Codex, latest in supplements, along with the Imperial Fists for the Space Marine Codex. It's got some neat stuff going on. The problem is that in this codex in particular, you're being pushed into using certain things to take advantage of the benefits. So you have to use flame and melta weapons. It's not like, so for instance, if you, again, I'm going to talk about Iron Hands. The whole world's talking about Iron Hands. If you make someone not have to take move and fire penalties for heavy weapons, there is a huge laundry list of heavy weapons. If you give them a special rule that applies to flamethrowers and melta guns, that's just flamethrowers and melta guns. You haven't opened the door to like a huge swath of things. You've narrowed the door. So instead of going wide, you've gone deep basically into a rule. The Thunderhammer stuff is cool, but like Smash Captains are such a ubiquitous thing anyway. Making like one incredibly super Smash Captain kind of seems like overkill. But that's a cool gimmick, I guess. I mean, I guess what you could do now, what you might see people do, is take like a Supreme Command detachment of 3 Salamanders and give them those relics, and they'll maybe be better than the ones from the Blood Angel Codex a little bit. Although not really, because +1 to wound is still amazing on the charge. So, I don't know. Salamander players are going to be happy because you have a codex. Again, you've had the first Salamander codex was a supplement codex inside Codex Armageddon. I want to say, I think it was because it was the Armageddon League. You got Salamanders and Black Templars in that one. And since then, they've never really had like a full codex, never like this, never in hardcover with like all the special gubbins and stuff and nice pretty art. So it's cool to have that, and I'm sure that like veteran Salamanders players were already built into like the whole hammer and flame and melta thing already anyway. So it's not like they're losing anything with this codex, they're probably just getting more. But if you're starting to play a Salamander army for the first time, you're kind of being pushed into a gimmick, I guess. So I can see them being popular competitively, maybe as like a micro detachment where you're just cherry picking the relics and rules. And for, of course, the players that already play this army, they're just happy they have a codex. So there it is. So anyway, I've been doing this review of Codex Salamanders. We'll see if more of these in the future. Till next time, I'm Ash. Have a good one. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to support the channel, of course, like and subscribe and hit the little bell below so you get notifications when I post future content. I do post stuff 7 days a week. If you want to support the channel further, you can, of course, buy a t-shirt through Spreadshirts, buy a measuring gauge or objective markers from Death Ray Designs, or, of course, most importantly, there is Patreon. Patreon is what makes all this possible, keeps the lights on, pays for the studio costs, pays for the equipment, model costs, and everything else, and most importantly, puts food in my kids' bellies and a roof over their heads. Big thanks to everyone, past, future, who supported me. I do this stuff because of you guys, and of course, I will continue doing it as long as I can.